Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another unboxing for Black Rose Wars Rebirth. This is for the stretch goal Kickstarter stuff. I'll mention link to Game Found, but the stretch goal content from the campaigns. So yeah, this is what's really neat is they put it in one big giant box with 6 mini expansions. So each one kind of like works the same way as the previous like retail expansions do. Same size boxes. They almost all have at least one mage in them. Plus then they have maybe a spell school of cards, or they'll have an avatar, or some other cool mechanic of the game. The box is also referred to as, so we can get this to focus, is ROTAS. Or ROTAS, which is the first name on there. So I don't know, it might be Italian. I'm not sure. I know it's Sador, which is the first one, which is the stretch goal box for the name of the original Black Rose Wars game. So Rebirth is ROTAS. It's kind of fun that it's going in backwards order. So I don't know if we'll get the other ones in there, or if they are references to some of the other games or not. But yeah, it's a pretty cool big box. It stores all your things. It would almost have been neat if we would have had another box like this to hold the other campaigns. There are 3 more boxes that were the regular goals. And then, like, with a couple of smaller ones, would have been kind of neat if you just would have been able to, like, slide, like, the Apocalypse box in there, and then, you know, like, something else, you know, then, like, one of the other ones, and then have, like, this. You could have had, like this one, like, other expansions, and then, like, even, like, the core set. Yeah, there's some really neat pictures on there, otherwise it's just a Black Rose. I don't think there's anything different on the bottom. Nope. So yeah, we'll hop through all 6 of these expansions. There's a picture on the inside, which is really cool. So this is just, I'm gonna flip these all around. And we'll have the 6 of them. Last Dynasty, Northwings, Antiquities, Once Upon a Time, Silk Road, and Madness. So, let's go ahead and hop into these. Alright, we're going to head towards the east and go to the Silk Road, which is going to add some extra fun new content to the game. So we have a frenzied music announces the arrival of Devi at the lodge. She demands that the mage bow before her, worshipping her and offering her their lives as gifts. Who will be brave enough to face her without surrendering to her dreadful power? So we're getting Devi as a brand new avatar, as well as we're getting Sun Wukong here as an evocation, and 3 brand new mages, which is really cool. So we're actually getting some, you know, instead of having like an extra other stuff, we're also getting a room and stuff too. We're getting definitely some cool stuff. We don't get a deck of cards, instead we get some new mages. So we will have, just to go a quick look here, we'll have our 3 new mages, their spell cards, 2 forgotten spells to summon Devi and Sun Wukong, brand new room, activation token, and 3 new Jinx cards, so 1 but 3 copies of it, as well as our avatar, command cards, and duality tokens for Devi. There are mages. We're also going to get these defeat tokens, which we'll take a look at. And then we'll have the avatar thing we'll break down in a moment. But let's head in and look at our brand new mages. Zoom our camera down. So we are going to start with a Piotr. So he looks almost looks more Russian, like, name seems Russian, like Kozak, things. So I think we're just getting some other people, but yeah, kind of like on the trade road. But he has 11 health, 7 cards, 2 attack, move, and quest. So let's look at his card. I grabbed the wrong miniature. We almost looked at the wrong guy. So there is a Pietr's miniature, yeah. So you got a little knife dagger on, some scrolls, some like skulls. Get a little bit better focus on him. Yeah, his hat, I think it's a Cossack. But I mean, I could be wrong. He's got his book with no writing in it. I don't think there's anything on the cover either. But yeah, very interesting. So since they don't have a spell book, there's not necessarily an easy to be like, always like, they're going to immediately do this type of group. But let's look at his cards and see if he kind of seems. So he's going to be Dictate. Contingency spells targets an evocation. Assign an upgrade of your choice to target. It activates under your control. So he wants to do anything where he's summoning a bunch of evocations, and he has upgrades. So he's going to be good for something like Technomancy from this set, or if we're looking at maybe one of the older ones that had like, I don't know which other ones had upgrades in it. There's at least another one from the original set that has upgrades. Otherwise, his other size, lose 1 power point. Choosing evocation has 3 health value of 3 or less from its evocation deck. Summon it and assign it an upgrade of your choice. So that's pretty cool. So you get a free summon of any evocation that's smaller. So generally, any ones that aren't the Forgotten one. And you just assign an upgrade to it. So having more upgrades is great. And we do get some upgrades in some of the expansions other than just the core set. Plus, again, if you get the original version, you get some more in there too, so that's pretty fun. So that is our first mage. Our second mage is Daijing. He's definitely a mystical sorcerer. Of course, they're all wizards, but yeah, so it's 10 health, 8 hand size, 2 attack, 2 movement, and 2 quests. I was really hoping their stats would be a little bit more varied. I know that in the original one, they did give upgraded versions of all the characters, and it's cool if they did that for here, too, with, like, that special abilities. But I guess you can do the create your own mage version, and they probably just figured that was good enough. But yeah, here he is with his yin-yang on his hat, his dragon pauldrons. He's carrying a flag behind him. Interesting, he's got a big giant scroll. Obviously, they didn't carve stuff in there, so that'd be kind of interesting. Like, so if I paint this ever, I have to maybe, like, scribble some little markings on there. Probably never did them accurate, but at least make it look cool. Even the dragon, like, on his jacket's pretty cool. So his head starts right there, and then it kind of goes down through the back robes here. So he has, like, robes over it. That's pretty neat. Alright, what does Daijing do for us? He has his personal spells. Whoops. Alright, so he has Furu, if I pronounce that anywhere near correctly. Gain 1 rose point. Persistent, when you reveal a combat spell, draw 1 card from your grimoire. Straight up just doing damage to people, getting extra cards for it. On his other side, he has gain 1 power point. Persistent, when you reveal a contingency spell, draw 1 quest from the current moon. So basically, do you want to do damage and draw extra cards to have more options for stuff, or do you want to do contingency spells and get more quests to try and get more points that way? It's very interesting how you can play this. I don't know if he really fits specifically into any type of deck. But he is going to be, but he'll make use of a lot of them, because all he wants to do is play. But he'll fit into more depending on which side you want to play, is depending on what cards you purchase. So maybe not one deck specific, but if you are playing decks with a lot of contingency spells, very few buy spells, he's only going to use the one side more often than the other, and vice versa. Some have even, some are a little bit skewed one direction or the other. Alright, then our third and last mage for the set is Alicia. So yeah, she's, I'm guessing, so if we have like a Russian, I'm guessing he's Asian. I don't know if he's Asian. I'm guessing Chinese as opposed to Japanese, just based on, like, he has, like, the Fu Manchu looking mustache. I'm not trying to be racist by any of this. I'm just trying to guess. You know, list stats. And she definitely looks, like Indian, or, Hindi, like one of those two. And I'm not super familiar with the cultures enough to look at someone and know exactly where they would be from. I wish they had lore books on these characters. I would love to learn more about all these characters, to be honest. I love the lore of the game. So she has 10 health, 8 draw, 2, 2, and 2. Her miniature, take a look at that. So I believe she's going to use the Jinx spell. So she might like Hex or Hecata class spells because of that. But yeah, it's a really long braid there. It's really neat. Still love the details. Let's see if we can get zoomed in a little bit better. Yeah, no, looks like she's holding a flower of some sort. Come on. You can focus. I believe in you. Alright, maybe you're not going to focus that close. Alright, well, let's see what she does. She has a card whose name I am going to butcher so badly. So it is Bahara Tanyam? Bahara Tanakium. I probably butchered that beyond belief. But she has a contingency spell. It says assign divine damaging spells to the target. Then move the target up to one space, move them up to one space, move them up to one space. So cool, so you can move them 3 spaces. Or on the other side, we have a persistent effect. When another mage is placed in a cell, gain 2 rows. So yeah, even though she has a jinx spell, it's specific to her. She doesn't necessarily gain any extra bonuses from one of the other ones. But that kind of makes these guys fun because they're not like really skewed towards one spell school or the other. So they kind of like, hey, here's these interesting characters that can fit into just about anything because they don't have like summon the undead or place. The one guy has the upgrade, so that's a little bit different, I guess. Let's see what this jinx spell does. So we have 3 copies of it. So if we play Divine Dance, it says, when you enter a room, inflict damage, the black rose inflicts damage to you. When you are placed on your cell, place 1 cube on this card, discard this card. Oh, cool. Because of the way her card works, right? She assigns it, and then she can move them up to 3 spaces. So she can basically just move them 3 spaces away, and have the rose deal 3 damage to them. So the up and down side is it does more damage, it might defeat them. The downside is it also gives the rose 3 more points towards winning. So you might only want to move 1 or 2 depending on if you want to gain the rose to gain that many more extra instability or points on them for when they're defeated. Also, though, you might only move 1 or 2 because this could be great setup for one of the spell schools that deals with setting traps a lot in specific rooms. So it's like you'd have to hit a red room or a purple room, right? You could easily move them into those rooms. So that is really cool as well. Alright, then let's look at our forgotten spells. We have 2 of them. We have awareness. Learn how to read. Summon Sun Wukong. So Summon Wukong is the Monkey King. Lots of people might also be based off Journey to the West, I believe is the name of the story. Dragon Ball Z was based off that. A lot of stuff is based off of this. But he's the Monkey King. So we also have opposite side. Place yourself in any room and perform an attack on a model with +4 attack. And then place yourself in any room. So cool. Hop into a room, bash someone for a big attack, and then hightail it out of there. That's fun. Alright, let's look at his miniature. So he's got his big giant... I'm going to try and complete this. Is it the Kibuku pole? I might be wrong on that. But yeah, he's got his big giant pole that he gets to bounce around on. Also, if you're familiar with Naruto, this is the 3rd Hokage's. He has his staff that he uses. And then the monkey comes out. This is based on that as well. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's basically like a ninja monkey. Pretty cool. We get to summon him, and he's definitely going to be powerful with his second ability. But what does his evocation card look like? What are his actual stats? So Sun Wukong is a beast and forgotten. So saying when Sun Wukong activates, before performing an attack, he can place himself in any space. When he activates after performing space, he can place himself anywhere. So he gets the ability to attack at 4. So basically the first time you're just summoning his spirit, and then here now you're actually getting to summon him. So he doesn't move, he can teleport anywhere he needs to be, smack someone for 4 damage, and then run away. So he's going to be hard to take out. That's a very interesting effect. Awesome. So then the last one we have here is Devi. So we have Summons Devi. It's Manifestation. Summon Devi. She activates. So she definitely looks like she's kind of based on the Hindu god Shiva, at least to an extent. I know she's not. I know she's not Shiva. I know Devi is probably just the name of the god. But that's who it reminds me of. Manifestation. Persistent. When you inflict damage, you instead inflict that damage plus 3. Ooh, that could be fun. Alright, let's look at her miniature. Yeah, so she got all these forearms. She got a bunch of skulls all over. She's got some little vampire looking teeth sticking out. Guy's head on a platter. Big giant like crown for her backing, which is pretty cool. Definitely neat. The detail on these things are crazy. They're gonna suck to paint, I tell you what. For an amateur painter like myself. Alright, so we have when a model and divinity and forgotten to give me godlike beings. Says when a model inflicts damage to Devi, Devi inflicts the same amount of damage suffered plus 2 to that model. At the end of each activation, Devi the rose inflicts 1 damage on her. Okay, cool. So she's super powerful because you hit her to try and take her out. She's going to deal a bunch of damage back to you. She has 3 movement and 3 attacks. So you're not going to want to let her sit around too long. Because otherwise, basically if you don't attack her, she's going to do 3 damage for 6 turns, right? Until the rose finally kills her. But if you do take her out, you're going to start taking some extra damage as well. It's just kind of like maybe everyone sort of has to, like, I guess, like, if you're playing, like, a multiplayer game, like a 4-player game, the 3 other people might be like, dudes, we gotta kind of team up to take this guy out, or she's just gonna wail on all of us. So that's pretty cool. Alright, then we have a brand new room. So let's go ahead and look at our brand new room. We have a brand new green room. I love having new rooms, just different options for stuff. You have the Zen room, says a model may move up to 1 space. Alright, cool. So if you move around, might have some different points than some of the other ones. There is the opposite side, all rebuilt. And then we have its activation for the Rebirth side. Any model may move up to 1 space, may move up to 1 space, may move up to 1 space. So just activate it, lets you kind of, you're re-energized, now you can run 3 different rooms. Cool. So we have 2 things left to look at. We have our avatar for Devi. We have to look at all her stuff. And then we have the defeat tokens. So we did not look at those guys yet. So here are the little tiny defeat tokens. And they're just little tiny crowns, just skulls on them. And you kind of flip it to the other side, see what that looks like. So what are these, is what the question is. This is a fun little thing they added to the stretch goal boxes, is they add some game component upgrades. But instead of throwing it like all into one box, they kind of split it over a bunch of them. It's just kind of neat as well. So defeat tokens can be used to keep track of the maximum amount of damage that a mage or avatar can suffer before being defeated. Place a token on the board, fall in the slot. So, what that means is we have our board here. And if we are playing as Alicia, so normally we drop a cube there to keep track of it. But now what we can do is we can put the little skull in there. So instead of having one of your cubes, you have a skull. And then every time you take damage, or rather if you're starting from 0, you keep track of it, and each time you move up, you'd be able to be like there. So it's just a really neat, different way to keep track of it without having to use a cube, which is also fun because since you have limited cubes, it gives you 1 extra cube to do something else with. So that's a really cool extra little bonus. And then you can, even if you really wanted to, I think there's 6 in the box. Let me double check. There are 6. So that's the only thing, though, is if you paint, like, the cube, the color of like, on the bottom, if you paint it one of the 6 colors, is that then you wouldn't have the 7th color for the avatar, or something like that. But that's always something you could just opt to do, is just paint the 6 main ones, or paint them all the same. Or you could paint, like, even if you don't paint the cube different, you can always paint the crown different colors and stuff like that. So it could be a really cool little idea. Alright. So I just wanted to show those guys off. We did get those. Those are pretty neat. Then the last thing we have is our avatar. And since we didn't have a deck or anything to go through in this one, we'll just do this all in one video. So we have Debbie. She has 10 health, 3 attack, and 1 movement. Sacrifice, Worship, and Dominion. Assuming, again, like I've said in the other videos, if you are watching a stretch goal video, I'm assuming you watch some of the other expansions, or at least the core set, and you should know how avatars work, so I'm not going to go over all their little rules. She has her activation ability, which is assign 1 tool, and her tools are duality tokens, to each mage, 1 space away. She has her priority. Her priorities are, choose a target with the most mages in it, then the one with the most models, then the room with the most instability. If she has 2, she chooses a room with the most tools in it, then the room with the most models, then the room with the least instability, and then finally she chooses the mage with the least amount of tools, the mage with the least amount of points, then the mage with the most damage. So basically she's trying to find the weakest one there. Then she has her abilities, Sacrifice, Worship, and Domination. So Sacrifices, during step 2 of the cleanup phase, Debbie gains 1 point for each mage who she has at least 1 trophy. So she gets her trophy, she's going to gain extra. Worship, when with Debbie is rebuilt, Debbie gains 2 points. Ooh. And then Dominion, which is a common one. When she activates, you place her in the Black Rose room. I like it's kind of interesting they had to put that on there just because everyone has it, but I guess it's better to have it on there than not, than someone doesn't know what to do with them. Set her up, do everything like normal. Place it out, remove the manifestation card since you're not summoning her. Alright, so then she has her deck, and then she has duality tokens, which are yin-yang symbols. So we have 12 of those. How are those going to work? So when you see them, some effects related to Debbie assign duality tokens to the target mage. Duality tokens follow these rules. Assignment, when a mage is assigned a duality token, they place it on their mage. The mage can have a maximum of 2 duality tokens assigned. A duality token assigned to a mage is considered to be in the lodge and counts as being in the same room as the mage. Okay, so you assign a token. Counts as being in the lodge and counts as being in the same room. When a mage is defeated, they discard all duality tokens they have. When a duality token is discarded, it is immediately returned to the shared pool. Okay, so you basically put them on there, and then you get defeated, they go away. Actions. A mage assigned 2 duality tokens can use your physical actions, punishment, and absolution. Okay, so if we get 2 of them, we can do punishment, physical action. Move 1. You can perform this effect a number of times equal to your speed value. Each individual dot is a separate move effect. Okay, we already know all that. Perform a physical attack action on a model. Physical damage deals damage to your card equal to strength by your mage, and convert 1 damage to your, and convert 1 of the mage. Okay, so basically it's going to let you move, perform an attack at 0 range, and then convert 1 of those damage. Or absolution. You can move, do speed value up to your thing, convert 1 in a space, or place 1 instability and convert 1 instability. Okay, so either place damage or convert. Interesting. But you have to have 2 tools on 2 duality tokens first. And you can only have 2 at a time. So there are 12, so it's 1 for every character. All 6 mages, basically. Alright. We already saw her Debbie stuff. And then we have a legendary scenario to look at in a minute. But let's go ahead and look at her command card. So we'll go through the first page, which is the half crescent moon. Let me zoom in on these a little bit. Lesser Pledge. Priority 1 places herself in the target room. Spell, activate. Each mage has at least 1 tool, assigns 1 rose, or loses 1 rose, and she draws a card. Spill of Blood. Place herself in the target room. Heals 2, inflicts 2 damage in that room. Dance of Destruction. Places herself in the target room. Places 1 instability for each tool in the room. Activates. First cut places herself in the target room, inflicts 1 damage for each tool in the room. Does or activates then. Did I miss where? Okay, when she activates, she assigns a thing to each mage. So she's gonna get in your room and assign them, because if you have these duality tokens, she does more damage to you. So she wants to do more. Yes, you get extra actions, but she wants you to have them so that she can do extra damage to you. Cool. Past view places herself in the target room, draws and sells 1 quest for each current moon in that room. Yeah, she wants to target a mage, or target whoever she's targeting, get to that room. For every time there's a tool, she's going to get to do more stuff. Activates and draws them. And she's going to add another thing on them when she activates, so they're going to keep getting them. Unless they already have the 2. So if she's only targeting 1 mage, she'll get to do the ability possibly once, 0 to 2 times. But if you have 3 mages in there, each have 2 tokens, she can go anywhere from 0 to 6 times. So crazy. Places herself in the target room, places 2 instability, converts 1 for each that cannot be placed with this effect. Activate. Crest of the Goddess, places herself in the room, 3 inflicts 2 damage, converts 1 damage for each damage inflicted with this effect. Activates. Anger, places herself in the room the target is in, and then performs an attack on target with +1 damage for each tool assigned. The target discards 1 of them. Loyalty, places herself in the room, gains 1 rose +1 for each tool assigned to the target, and they discard 1. And then the last one here is Whispers of Death, places herself in the Black Rose room, activates the target room without producing any effect. If she does, draws and solves 1 quest to the current moon, activates, draws another card. Cool. Interesting effects. Alright, so then we have Lesser Pledge, now we have Regular Pledge. For the Space 2, she has places herself in target room, gains 1 point for each mage in room with at least 1 tool assigned. Each mage with at least 1 loses 1 rose. She activates and draws a card. Goblet of Blood, places herself in the target room, heals 2, inflicts 2 damage to 1, and then draws a new card. Dance of Death, places herself in the room, inflicts 1 damage, activates and inflicts a damage for each tool in the room. She moves around a lot, because she has her activation first. She places herself in the target room, then she activates, inflicts 1 damage for each tool in that room. Present View, places herself in the solves a quest for each current moon for each rose who had at least 1, and then activates. Conquest, places on the target room, places an instability in room 1 space away, converts 1 for each one that cannot be placed. Activate. Embrace of the Goddess, places herself in the target room, inflicts 2 damage +1 for each tool the target has assigned. Converts 1 damage for each inflicted with this effect. Activates. Fury, places herself in the room, performs an attack on target +1 for each tool, and then they discard 1. Reverence, places target in target room, performs an attack on target, gains 1 rose +1 for each tool, and then they discard it. And then the last one here is Word of Death, places herself in the Black Rose rooms, activates, draws a quest for the current mood, activates, draws a new card. Cool. Alright, and then our last one, now she gets a Major Pledge. Places herself in the room, gains 1 rose for each tool assigned to each mage. Crazy. And then activates, draws a new card. Rain of Blood, heals 3, inflicts 2 damage at 0 range, inflicts 2 damage at 1 range away. Dance of the End, since the compliments are the same, I'm just going to stop reading them. Activates, inflicts 2 damage for each tool in each room 1 away, draws a card. Third Cut, activates, converts 1 damage for each tool in the room, inflicts 1 damage for each tool. Future View, draws and solves 1 quest for the current moon for each mage who has at least 1 tool. Activate, draw a card. Domination, places instability in 1 room, converts 2 for each one that cannot be placed. Kiss of the Goddess, puts 2 damage +1 for each tool the target assigned, converts 2 damage for each damage inflicted. Wrath, steals 1 from the target, if the target has 2 tools, the target is defeated. Ooh, that's mean. Devotion, Performs an attack on target for +1 for each tool. Gains 1 rose for each tool, and then you have to discard 1. And her final card is places herself in the Black Rose room, draws a quest for the current moon and solves it, activates, draws another card. Very cool. Alright, then the last thing we have to look at for her is we have our legendary quest, Nirvana. Zoom out just a bit. Special game lets you play Nirvana as a goddess Debbie, custom mage of the lodge by judging their actions and searching among them for an individual capable of achieving spiritual enlightenment. So place our cubes on the 7th, 19th, and 33 slot. So yeah, a little bit different. Special rules in our free will. When the mage defeats Debbie, they can choose to gain or discard up to 2 duality tokens. Oh, so you can discard them so you don't take effects from her stuff, or you can draw them to get the extra actions. That's neat. And Death and Rebirth. When a mage defeats Debbie, they place one of their cubes on Debbie's avatar card. At the end of the game, each mage with 1 rose for each duality token assigned to them. At the end of the game, mages the most on hers gains 3. So that's kind of neat. So these aren't like game-breaking scenarios that they're adding a bunch of ton of new stuff, but it's just like, hey, here's a simple way. You're going to play against Debbie already. Here's some extra little special rules to just make it a little bit different. So very cool. Alright, that was Silk Road. It's a very cool set. We got an interesting avatar. Again, like them duality tokens, right? You could gain the ability to do some stuff, extra physical or instability actions, but at the risk of potentially feeding her more power. We got 3 new mages. We got a new familiar, which is cool, a new room, as well as our little tiny skull buddies, which are really cool. I love game upgrades. So, alright, that's what we have for the Silk Road. Check out the rest of the videos. See you guys later. Bye.